Yes, Don, you are a liar. Don, you are a cheater. Don, you are a rapist. And I'm not scared to tell it into your face.
Bad decisions. Bad decisions.
Welcome back to the Bad Decisions podcast. My guest today is Beatrice Keul. In 1993, Beatrice was a young Swiss beauty queen who was invited to New York to compete in Donald Trump's American Dream pageant. She says that trip changed her life forever. Beatrice alleges that Donald Trump sexually assaulted her at the Plaza Hotel. She says that Jeffrey Epstein introduced himself as Trump's best friend and targeted her immediately afterward. She has since accused Ivana Trump of playing a role in introducing young women into these circles. She says she has spent decades carrying these stories. She has received terrifying threats after speaking publicly and believes many more women are preparing to come forward. Whether you've heard her name before or not, this is one of the most talked about and controversial accounts to emerge from the world of Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, beauty pageants, and elite New York society. Today, we're starting at the beginning. Beatrice, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Scott, for the invitation. Thank you for your time and for giving me a chance also to introduce myself.
Great. So let's start at the beginning. For people who are hearing your name for the first time, who is Beatrice Keul?
Well, as said, my name is Beatrice Keul. I would like to make something very clear from the very beginning. I am not a spy. I am not paid by anyone. And I do not have any political affiliation. And yes, I am Swiss. And yes, I am neutral. This is something very important because many of the people write me comments and remarks on Insta, among others. And I think this is very, very important for me to say this today. And then otherwise, more personally to me, I'm polyglot, I'm cosmopolite, I'm a bank executive. I attended 2 major beauty pageants, Miss Switzerland, Miss Europe, and of course the famous Donald J. Trump American Dream pageant. And I am a victim, a survivor, a witness of the era of elite predators of the 90s. And I only want justice and saving lives. This is the most important to me in this entire story. And my story is not a gossip story. My story is a geopolitical story. And this is also another major point so that people understand it has nothing to do with gossip. We are talking about my testimony that opened the Pandora box and was the trigger to the Epstein saga. And all this said, most importantly, also I would like to mention 3 things. I love life, I adore fondue, and I am not suicidal, so that people got it. And whatever happens in the future with me, so that they know I am really someone who has both feet on the floor, and I do not have any issues, as some people may write or think that I am a spy or an agent or I was paid. So no, and again, no. I am Swiss and I am neutral.
What was your life like before your arrival in America?
Well, before I arrived in America, I had a very quiet life. I had a great life, great family. I was studying. I was learning my languages. I did my diplomas. I was a bank employee. I was super happy. I had everything I wanted and I wished in my life. I was 185, 60 kilo. Everybody was kept telling me I should be a model, so I did that for fun as a hobby. My world was absolutely perfect.
So how did a young, bright, 6'1" woman from Switzerland end up in Donald Trump's world?
Well, it's very easy. I got the invitation just after Miss Switzerland and Miss Europe. I was personally invited by Trump to attend the American Dream beauty pageant in New York and Atlantic City. And because I got these personal invitations, that's how I landed in this New York jungle.
What did the name Donald Trump mean to you in 1993?
Oh my God, it was crazy. In the 90s, in Europe, newspapers wrote about him as being Mr. New York, as being the billionaire, non plus ultra. Um, it was just wow, wow, wow. And most of all, in the 90s, we European, we were extremely in love with America. We were dreaming of the American dream, and we all wanted just one thing, and to come and visit America at least once. And that was exactly the idea of for me to come. And that's why I was also so excited when I got the personal invitation, because I thought, oh my God, it's a dream come true. And I did my proficiency, my TOEFL. I did everything just to be ready for that day. And I was excited, and everybody around me was excited, and everybody was telling me, oh my God, lucky you, lucky you, lucky you for America, lucky you for New York, lucky you for Trump. So you can imagine the excitement, and then it came out totally differently.
What were your dreams at that time?
At that time, my dream was absolutely not being a beauty queen. It was nice to have because I was tall, I was blonde, I was good looking, I was skinny, super skinny, only 60 kilo, 185. So it was, how should I say? It was like um, a great gift that I had, but I was not really aware of it. But people reminded me a lot about the chance that I had, the way I looked.
Yeah, when you arrived in New York, what did you think might or was about to happen?
I expected a beauty contest, just like Miss Switzerland and Miss Europe. I did not expect anything else than a normal international competition. And finally, when I came to New York, I discovered totally something different, because from the very beginning, Trump came and he introduced to me himself to me, and he was playing the very charming guy, and I trusted him. And then Epstein came, so that was a bit weird, because first I thought he's part of the organization, or maybe a journalist. But when he started to talk to me, then I realized, oh my God, who is this guy? Where is he coming from? Everything was weird about him, and strange, and it didn't match at all. And everything went extremely quickly. I had no time to realize what is going on, because these guys, they were very routine. I came there like Heidi, in Predator Land, and I trusted everybody, because that's the way we used to live in Europe. And when he sent me this person from his entourage, and I followed him blindly, totally blindly, because I trusted him and I believed him when he said we will continue this conversation later on. And it was all a question of trust. And so I went, and when I landed on the upper floors, and when he attacked brutally, sexually assaulted me, I was in shock. I didn't even think about 1 second that something like this could happen with him, to me, it was an orchestrated ambush. I had no time to think, but they knew what they were doing, because finally, afterwards, I realized that I represented nothing but fresh meat to him, and this is the way he reacted. This is the way he lived, and I didn't know all that, because the newspapers never wrote about anything strange that would go on in New York, and because of that, I just followed blind, and I have fallen into this ambush that was organized, orchestrated, and planned with Jeffrey. And you have to imagine that at this one beauty contest, there were three predators: Trump, Epstein, and the third guy, very famous. And the three of them were using this beauty contest as a playground. And Trump paid and financed this beauty pageant, and he allowed the other predators to come and just take what they wanted. And the three of them had the same method. You know, they had this famous sentence that they kept saying, the three of them: "I will take care of you. You just need to pack, you know, and come, and all expenses are paid." And for me, you know, I had my diplomas, my languages. I was a bank executive. Why should I go into a deal like that? So, thanks God, I escaped Epstein, but I couldn't avoid the trap that Trump organized for me. And I was just not prepared to this kind of scenario. I not even in my worst nightmare, it was impossible to me to imagine that I go in a foreign country and then I get attacked by Trump, who became Jekyll and Hyde within seconds. You know, and what is also very, very strange is that they were organizing three events. And the first one was the Trump beauty pageant. Then there was the Trump party at Mar-a-Lago. And then there was another third event. And finally, I declined those two other events. But all in, there were about 150 girls who were supposed to attend these three events. In other words, these 150 girls, they were also 150 potential victims. And now you can do your maths. What that would mean for 1 month, for 1 year, or 10 years. So these guys, they just knew what they were doing. They were organizing and orchestrating all these events, and they just took what they wanted. And we had no idea that it was a trap and it was an ambush.
Beatrice, if you're comfortable, would you step by step walk us through that evening? Well, both with Epstein and with Trump, the ambush.
Well, that's the most difficult part. It was actually a press luncheon, and you have to imagine the ballroom, you have to imagine round tables, you have to imagine over 60 beauty queens and press members and organizing staff. And all of a sudden, Trump came in. He came straight to me and he said, "Finally, we meet Miss Cool." He couldn't say my name. And then we started to talk, and he was flirting and asking lots of questions about everything, where I live, what my plans are, etc. And he clearly said, "Okay, I think it lasted over 15 minutes. Everybody was watching us. It was quite uncomfortable." And then he said, "I will send you someone and we'll continue this conversation." And that's when Epstein came. And we were like in a triangle, you know, Trump on one side, Epstein on the other side, and me in the middle. And they were smiling to each other. So for all those who think or who still doubt, you know, that these two guys, they never met or they never knew each other or they never whatever together, I can tell you just one thing. Trump and Epstein were real besties. They were smiling to each other. They knew exactly what is going to happen afterwards. And Trump did the introduction and Epstein wanted to do the job. And from this, I am 1000% sure today, they orchestrated it. It was meticulously organized and they both had their own job description. Trump did the introduction and Jeffrey tried to do the job with me, but it didn't work because I was not a $200 girl. And even the big cards didn't work with me. His billionaire friends, his royal friends, Mar-a-Lago parties with Dawn. I found everything suspect. And most of all, I found him very weird and like a bluffer, when people pretend too much and it just doesn't look good because everything he said didn't match with how the way he looked. It didn't match the way he was dressed, and it didn't match to his entire picture. And I know that because at the bank, we used to double check and triple confirm people, and I knew how to watch and where to watch, and that's how I managed to escape Epstein. But Trump was very subtle, and he played the trust card. And that's where I have fallen into his trap and his ambush.
You described that ambush as violent. Can you describe it?
I cannot go into details because then we have to stop.
That's,
I
that's fine.
mean, I
That's
can
fine.
only say that it was brutal. It was intense, and I do not wish anything like this to anybody, not even my worst enemies. Especially when you come with good feelings, especially when you come from abroad and you trust a person, you trust the country you come to, and you also have to imagine something else. I did not have my passport anymore, so I couldn't just say, okay, this was terrible what happened to me, I'm going to take the first plane. It was
Wait, where was your
impossible.
passport?
We did the check-in, and once we did the check-in, the passport were taken away. I didn't have my passport anymore.
Oh my
So
God,
I
I
had
didn't know
no
this.
option to go away. I had no option to do anything. And don't forget something very important. He threatened me. He clearly said, you have to be quiet, otherwise bad things will happen to you. And I will never, ever forget that moment, and especially the second moment when he said, the show must go on. In other words, you go back to the pageant, you do like nothing happened. We make a deal, the two of us, and you will get everything you want from me, but just keep quiet. And I'm telling you here right now, I was ready to say everything he wanted me to hear, just to escape from that trap alive and to be able at a certain stage to go back to my country. That's what happened.
Good Lord, I can't believe they kept your passport. This is shocking. I didn't notice this in any of the documents. Um, after this awful violent assault, who was the first person you told? Was it when you got home?
It was impossible to talk to anybody. My parents were very traditional, and they would have never understood. My close friends would have never believed me. I couldn't go to the police. In the 90s, we women, we had only one right, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, Scott, because you knew the 90s. Just
Yeah.
suffer in silence, and that's all we had as option. Suffer in silence, and that's exactly what I did. And I tried my best to keep everything hidden so that I can continue my life. I can go back to bank and I can be operative, because otherwise I would have even lost my job at the bank and I would have lost control of my life. And I had
Completely
no
right.
other alternative than to be quiet, to suffer in silence, and try to find solutions as good as possible. But I was lucky because I had a great job. I was super busy on the highest levels, and I could really keep myself busy. But the subconscious, uh, it always brings it up. Even if you try hard to push it down, you try to put it in the box, you try to put everything you want, I tried everything, but it came up regularly, and it's like an open wound, you you just suffer in silence. You learn to suffer in silence. And this is a method that I had to live with for 30 years. And sometimes I managed well, sometimes I didn't manage. And I knew that I would not be able to find help anywhere. There were no associations. Doctors would never talk about this. It was a taboo, you know. And voilà, this is a girl from the 90s, and I had to live with what society wanted from us, just be nice, be a good girl, and be quiet.
So you stayed silent. You suffered in silence for 30 years. What made you decide to come forward recently?
Well, first of all, when he got elected in 2016, that was again the worst time in my life, because he was omnipresent from morning till the evening, in the news, in the newspaper, in the everywhere, online, etc. So there, I started to get really sick, and I started also to have all these flashbacks. I had started to 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 just, I couldn't keep it down anymore. I couldn't keep it in a safe. I just couldn't anymore. And I realized also for myself that I have to work on it, that I have to bring it out somehow. And that's how it all started, also with a very good friend of mine. We started to talk about it, also the idea of the book, so that we put everything black on white, and that it would help me also to heal. And that's how we step by step started and worked on it. It was very difficult, and we couldn't make it just like this in a day or two, and not in a week or two, but it took very long. It's a trauma that only those who lived it can believe it, and who know, who witness it, that there is no medicine for this. Absolutely no medicine. And you have to be very strong. You have to have a huge character. And as I said before, I was lucky because my job was a great job, and it kept me busy. And that's how I started, with the idea of the book, with writing down, and one chapter and one topic after the other. And that's how we managed to come forward a little bit. And then I saw these other women. At that time, there were 26 who already were 26 women against Trump. And then my article, my testimony in the Daily Mail came out, and it was a bomb. It was a huge bomb. I never expected that. I thought I would go under the radar, just like the other 26 women. But all of a sudden, the general conscience has waking up. The journalists waked up. The society was also open to what we were talking about, and it was a huge shock. A huge shock. It was a media blitz. It was tremendous. I mean, tremendous. I did not count on that, not even 1 second. You have to imagine, when the Daily Mail came out, it generated 150 million views in no time. And it was copy pasted all around the world, in almost all continents and almost all languages. And it never stopped until today. The media interest is huge. After the Daily Mail, 3 days after, the Daily Beast published Michael Wolff's audios with Epstein's voice. You certainly remember that, confirming that he was Don's best friend. And now you have to understand the moment. Starting from this moment, the Epstein saga took off. And many, many articles wrote about it, as I was the trigger of the Epstein saga. So let that sink in, me,
Yeah.
little woman from Switzerland, telling my little story, and all of a sudden it opens a Pandora box. That was totally unexpected. That was an explosion worldwide. But at that time, people did not know what is behind. They had no idea that Switzerland will be involved, France will be involved, Germany will be involved, Norway, and. It was not an American issue anymore. It was geopolitical. And that's why I insist on the fact that my story has nothing to do with gossip. It is a very, very important story, because it involves human trafficking, And it is huge. The impact is huge. And I am only a little part of the puzzle. I am not the entire puzzle. But because of this little story, it has opened so many angles that all the journalists from around the world, many journalists from around the world contacted me. And they understood the fact that I was the one who has put the puzzle together and would allow them to finally come out with all these catch and kill stories that they kept in their offices. Because there are still today many catch and kill stories that are waiting for someone like me who would bring the dots together so that the timeline would finally make sense. But it's huge.
Well, I
It's very complex, and not everybody can continue to read the Epstein files because it's such an atrocity, and it's bigger than us.
Yeah, and I don't think there's ever been a more important time for independent journalism, because I feel the fourth estate is mostly dead. They're controlled by the billionaire class, and I think most of the major news outlets are afraid of losing access. So I'm so glad that you've been talking to smaller and medium-sized outlets. I mean, obviously, other than the Daily Mail, which is the biggest one in the world.
Well, I was the first one to be surprised of the interest of the journalists, and you are mentioning now something extremely crucial. This is the most important moment to be a journalist, a podcaster, or a friend of survivors, because this is the moment we can really make a turn. And we need to stand up. We need to be strong. We need to get united and in solidarity and humanity, because finally this is what we need. Unity, solidarity, and humanity. People have to go back to the real values. People have to say no to the Overton window. People have to raise up around the world and say, no, I'm not going to bring children on this planet and to destroy them. This is not a way of living. And if he's a billionaire or a trillionaire, no, they are not going to get our children. There is no price for our children. And you are absolutely right. Being today a journalist or a podcaster, if it's a small, medium-sized, big, it doesn't matter. Please talk about it. Please write about it. Do not stop. We are going to win, because now we are that many. And I am contacted by people around the world. There are people who write me from South Africa. There are people who write me from Australia. There are people who write me from Greece. There are people, I cannot even name you all the countries that are today with us. We started as at the beginning, all survivors were called liars, and today we are heroes. But we are heroes only because of you, podcasters and journalists, because you believe in us and because you support us. Without you, we are nothing. And I'm telling you why we are nothing, because me as a woman, I have the three most powerful men against me. And I wake up each morning with this, and I tell you what. The first one is Trump, who threatened me. The second is Elon Musk, who has closed my X account and who has attacked me with AI-generated websites. And I have Mark Zuckerberg, who is shadow banning me, who is also taking me away from the search list, and who is each day playing with my last account that I have with my Insta. And these three guys, I would like to make a nota bene moment. Who are these three guys? They are in the Epstein files. And I am not in the Epstein files. I have never been there. But they continue to sanction me. They continue to terrorize me. And this is something that I live each day and each morning. I never know from where the attacks are coming. And these three guys, they have come together, the three of them, and they try to intimidate me and they try to defamate me. And what they want is to take me my freedom of speech away. And what they want is to erase me from the social media. But you know what is funny? They created algorithm. And what do the algorithm do? They search all the articles about me. And each time an article comes out with me that goes exactly against them and everything bad they try to do to me each morning, each day, it comes against them, but still they are trying. And the three of them have put all the power together against me. Little Swiss woman who is only trying to do one thing, to bring the truth out and to make sure that it doesn't happen again and again to other women and again to other children. And still, these three of them, they are the criminals. They are the one that are in the Epstein's files. And they try to damage me. And they try to damage me each day. And they try to kill me from social media so that people cannot find me. You have to imagine my views were over 300,000 in the past. And now all of a sudden they drop down to 300 or 3,000. You don't have to be an engineer to know what is going on here. And I never went against the terms and conditions of the sites. Never. I only posted the articles and I only posted my story, which is a true story. But still, the three of them are coming against me each day. And I wake up each day with the three guys against me. Each day. And I tell you, when they even generated a website where they pretend that I was a staff of Epstein and that I helped Epstein in his criminal activities to open offshore accounts. And this only because I am a banking executive. So they try everything. It's very, very perfide and very well organized, and they have the power and they have the money. And you know what I tell them all? People are watching. People know the difference and they know to read between the lines. And I'm not going to stop, even though they are the most powerful men in the world.
I'm not stopping either. Beatrice, tell me about the AI-generated threat that you got.
This, according to IT specialists, it's a company that belongs to Elon Musk. Indirectly, and he generated a website where he has put together names of victims, and he has put me into staff of Epstein. So, in other words, they want me to go into prison because I was a complicit. That's what they pretend, and they are trying to defamate me, and they're trying to intimidate me. And again, the three of them are the criminals. They are in the Epstein files, not me. But they can do everything, you know, they have the power, they have the money, they have everything. And this is just one piece of terror that I live, and they do that each day. Each day there is a surprise. I'm not on the list anymore of Insta. Then my DMs are deleted. Then all of a sudden my followers drop down of 20,000, and so on and so forth. They're playing, and they just push a button or two, and then I'm done. Elon Musk has already erased me from X because they don't want the truth. They don't even want people to read the articles about me. And this is a nightmare. I mean, these three guys, they have really nothing better to do than to come against a woman and the victim and the survivor. I'm really shocked. I think this is the biggest scandal. Not only they have the power, but they really go against women, and they still continue. They never stopped coming against women.
Well, speaking of women, I'd love your take on, you've talked about Ivana Trump, and I'd love your take on the women that were complicit, like Ivana Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, I can only talk about Ivana. I cannot talk about Ghislaine. But what I can say about Ivana is that she was a provider, clearly. I have met one of the girls who was brought by Ivana for Trump, and who clearly told me also that she was not the only one. And many further details are in my book. I cannot say more now. But
I
clearly, I have
understand.
seen it with my eyes, and I had a witness, and I have spoken to the witness, and she told me everything about it. So this is 1,000% thing. And Ivana was one of those who made sure that she can keep her position within this society and this powerful man, and therefore she was ready to do everything that was asked. And she knew, of course, also what happened because she was involved. I have met her several times. She was also at the event. So yeah, it's 1,000% story, and it's ugly. It's really disgusting, and I never thought that she would be complicit, but I saw it with my eyes, and the witness and everybody was there. So yeah, it's terrible, but I guess this was the price to pay to keep her position and to maintain her level in the New Yorker society. Otherwise, she would have had to move, I guess. Huh? She couldn't have. She wouldn't have been able to stay.
Yeah, and her story didn't end so well, did it?
Yeah, that's the other surprising story, and many open questions are also there. I mean, why did she has to fall the steps down a week before she goes to testimony? Why all of a sudden she had to go? Why? Something must have happened in between, and um, I I met her several times. I met her in America. I met her in Europe, and there are parts of her that I liked, and there are dark sides that are really bad, but very bad. And as a woman, I think if you start with this kind of business, um, when you sell your soul, that's bad. There's no return
Yeah.
point there, and I was surprised to see all that with my eyes. And I never thought, out of the newspapers that a woman like Ivana would go that down. But I guess it was the price to pay to keep her position within these guys, and also her money, maybe. Huh? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a long story, and there is a chapter on that as well with all the details and the witness and everything I experienced with her. And yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame. And yeah, she died, but I mean, the truth is the truth. And if it's bad, it's bad. It could have been good, but it's bad. And I do not regret saying that because it opens again the door to many other um, stories within pageants, and also, of course, the beauty queens coming from Eastern Europe. So there is a lot to tell again later on that topic, because it's like another Pandora box. She
Yeah.
opened another door, and there are many other implications that will follow soon also on that topic. But it's bad. It's very bad.
Beatrice, what's the current status of your book?
It's written, and it should come out this year. Um, I can only say one thing to that. Get ready. It's going to be an explosive book. And I tell you just one thing. Um, it will come out. Dead or alive, the book will come out.
And are you with a major publisher? Are you self-publishing? Are you doing an
I cannot
audiobook?
say anything to that because
Okay.
it's very tricky, and I prefer not to give the details out now. But
That's
get
fair.
ready. That's all I can say. And whatever happens to me, the book will come out.
I always try to avoid the comments on my own stuff, but I can't help myself sometimes. What do you say to people who don't believe you?
I don't care.
Same.
I have such a busy life. You cannot imagine what my life looks like from morning till the evening. I have my mornings that are reserved for the European press. I have and my family. I have my afternoons reserved for the American press and my lawyers and Zooms and everything that I need to. I have no time for bullshit. I have only time for facts. I have only time for building up. I have only time for going forward with the projects. I have tons of requests for podcasts, for documentaries, for interviews, for I need to focus on my job. I need to focus on what I want to reach. I do not have time for people who have ideas in their head that I cannot take out of their head. And the only thing I can tell them, wait until it happens to you and then we will talk again. It's the only way to go and to express them what I think about it. Negativity has no place in my life. Absolutely none. I have to be positive. I have to be strong. I have to get the power. I have to fill my batteries each day. I do not have time for nothing. I have a schedule that is full. Sometimes I work on weekends, like Rihanna said, work, 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 work. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I work, 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 work. And I
You,
have no time for anything else than, okay, these are my projects today. This is what I can do. Everything needs a preparation. You know how it is. You cannot just go, do, boom, boom. In the same time, I have to take care of me. In the same time, I have to make sure that security is also in place. I have to deal with all the pressure of these three imbeciles. I have to deal with threats. I have to deal with my God, So I only listen to what is important to me, what is positive to me, what brings me further, and what brings humanity further. And I do not lose not even a second on people who have no worth. And the same with journalists. We have to focus. There are things that have to be prepared. You cannot just go and do and things, and then you need also preparation. You need pictures, you need videos, you need this and that. You have to concentrate on one project after the other if you want to do it well. And I am a
agreed.
perfectionist. I have been raised like that. I have lived like that, and I want to keep on the good work. And also, all the people who write to me, I have to answer them. I have to make sure that people see that I am active, that I am with them, that I saw what they wrote me, that I respond to them. It's an interaction that is extremely important also because I am away from you guys in America. So all this geographic situation doesn't make it easy for me either. I cannot just say, let's go and have lunch, Scott, We
Yeah,
cannot do
yeah.
that, unfortunately. I wish I could. But because of this geographic situation, I have to work much harder than you guys because I have to put things together that you could do in 1 second because you just call the other, you see the person, and it's done. But I cannot do that, and therefore focus, focus, focus. Work, 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 and that's it. And there is no place for anything else. And if I can do a spa day in between, then I am already happy. If I can do my hair in between, then I am happy. But the focus is on work, on uh, the credibility, on the transparency, and on making sure that more and more people get the truth out there so that they can decide by themselves what they want to do in their life and how they want to continue. Because this is also something, we victims and survivors, we can do our job. You podcaster, you do your job, and we thank you for that. Merci beaucoup. and the journalists. I can never say enough merci beaucoup to everybody, but in the same time, the one who decide is the public, and the public
Yeah.
opinion is most important. Not the politician, not the administration. The public is going to make the difference on this topic, I guess.
I hope. How much time do you spend? Because I've spoken with many survivors over many years in this sphere, and you are one of the strongest. Do you spend much time counseling or communicating with other survivors?
I have everything. I have Epstein survivors with whom I am in contact. I have the Trump survivors, Women Against Trump. Then I have all
Good.
those survivors that you don't know about because they didn't come out. They are scared, and they are from both sides and other sides as well, from around the world. And
Yeah.
I try, I try to help everybody that comes to ask for help. I try to support them. I try to also to bring them to the people who can also bring more help than I can because of the time that I don't have. And I would say that a good 20% is survivors around the world.
Good.
And then the rest, 80% is the real job on the communication side, on the information side, with podcasts, with journalists. Yeah, but
Well, you're
it's
very,
a it's a big part. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you're a very intelligent and fearless role model, and I'm glad that they all have you. I'm glad that you all have each other.
Well, thank you so much. Well, many are lost, and I remember also the years when I was lost, and I wish I had someone like me who would guide me, who would tell me what to do. Lately, I was also in contact with someone from France, and who also met Trump, Epstein, and Ghislaine, and she had so many stories, and I said, okay, listen, now we have to put all this down on paper, and then we take one chapter after the other, because if I send you now to an association or whatever, or a lawyer, you will not understand, or they will not understand anything that you are saying, even though the story is extremely important. And this comes from the experience also. I wish I had that person at that time also, that would also help me. And I try to use this experience and everything I went through to help these people. And for example, this example of France is a very important example, because we are talking about 80s, 90s, and Trump, Epstein, and Ghislaine were already in France, and they were already doing a mess around. And she's one of those witnesses, and these are important stories, but it has to be handled with care, slowly.
In
I
order.
cannot
Yeah.
listen. Yeah, and I cannot listen to atrocities each day. I have a normal brain. I don't have a sick brain, and therefore I have to protect myself as well. So I help as well as it goes, and in the same time now we managed to for her to put everything on separate chapters, and now she's ready to go to an association, and now she's ready to go to a lawyer, and so on and so forth. So there are steps to implement, and these steps are not always simple with people who went through trauma and who almost went under because of that. And I am talking here of an example that was really extremely violent, and as a child. And still, she knows everything. She knows places. She knows names. She knows everything. And therefore, it was important for me to help her. And voila, it's step by step. It's a lot of mixture. My days are like that. And I try to block, an hour here or an hour there, and make sure that these people get also the help they need. And it's not easy for me either to listen to all this, because people do not realize that what they saw in the Epstein files, it's only an amuse-bouche, you know? This is just greetings from the kitchen. This is not the first plate yet. It's not the starter, it's not the main plate, it's not the dessert, it's not the fromage, it's not the digestif. We are talking about mise en bouche. In other words, it is so huge in atrocity that normal brains cannot cope with this. And you have to protect yourself also sometimes because it's too much for a human being.
Yes, it's a lot to take. It's a lot to take for a normal person even to read about it, much less experience it.
Yeah. But in the same time, I understand them. I try to focus on what is important and make sure that then they can go to the right place and, if possible, also start with legal procedures and everything that is possible in their own country.
Well, I'm glad you're helping them with your Swiss precision. You've said, Beatrice, that you don't believe Epstein killed himself. Why?
Oh, no, of course not. A guy like that never dies. No. A guy like Jeffrey Epstein is eternal. No. And if you look also to his accounts, it's all operative. I mean, who would have accounts who still continue to run? This is a joke. Come on. No, the guy is somewhere on the beach, lying on the beach and doing exactly the same as he did before. These kind of guys, they don't die, they don't change, they continue, they know only that and they don't know anything else. And that's why I am 100% sure that he's alive and he's doing exactly the same. And maybe even in a bigger scale and in other places where we are not looking right now, because now we are all looking right and he's certainly somewhere left. And yeah. A guy like Jeffrey Epstein does not die. Never. It's impossible to die because he had too many connections, too much money, he knew too much. And when you have that much blackmailing material, you don't die. You continue the job. I would like also to mention a few other points. So what I would like to say is also another point that I noticed in this whole procedure, as a victim and as a survivor, you are left alone. And when you are left alone, you try to get help. And my way of getting help was, I was thinking, okay, with men, it's going to be impossible to get help because they are all in a group, and they all keep together and they come against me. So then I thought, okay, let's try with the women. Let's try and see how women's solidarity and what it could bring, So I took the Forbes list of the top billionaire women and I was trying to contact them and I started to contact them and I thought, okay, so let's give it a try, If men are not helpful, then let's see with women. So I wrote to the very, very, very big names of the Forbes list, billionaire women. And those big names, they have PR articles telling us how much they do, for women, for children, and pretending that they give back so much. So what happened? I concretely wrote them. But they are hiding behind emails, and these emails generate automatic response or nothing, no response at all, or kind of a please do not disturb, So that was my first shock. And I thought, oh, how interesting. Then I was searching. And what did I find? Most of these women, they are married with billionaire men that either appear on the Epstein list or they are Trump donors. Okay, so then the conclusion for me, it was clear. that we victims and survivors and the public, we should start to be consequent. And we should start to boycott their products. Because I think this is the time to be honest and to stop playing games. We made them rich and we got nothing in return except paying taxes for them. So up to you to continue to sponsor them or finally open your eyes. Me, personally, I do not need their bags. I do not need their makeup. I do not need their shampoos. And nor do I need their panties. And my question to you is, do you need all that? And are you going to continue to sponsor them? Or will you be consequent? And this is a question, a very important question that I am asking to the people who are listening right now. Because when you are a victim and a survivor and you have zero help from nowhere, and then you go to these women and you think, okay, at least women solidarity, now we are getting maybe a little bit something, No, they are playing with us. Even though they are women and they are playing with us. And I think this is the moment for all those who are listening to be consequent and to say, basta, fertig, Schluss, finish. We don't play this game anymore. And this is something really that is important. And I hope people will hear it because this is the moment we either do it now or we will always continue to support them and they will get rich and even more rich. And we are getting poorer and poorer. And this is not possible to continue in this way, It's just not possible. And then there is something else that I would also like to mention. Maybe you have seen my post with World Epstein Forum. There is a very good reason why I did that. And this is huge, Scott. This is huge.
Tell me.
As a bank executive, I organized the World Economic Forum in Davos. And this is the reason why I created this logo, the Epstein Forum, instead of saying World Economic Forum. So why did I do that? For a simple reason. Because as a WEF insider, I know exactly what happened. I know exactly based on official documents what is going on there, what went on there. And I can confirm, as you hear me now, that Epstein was WEF's concierge. He had his ramifications from there, and everything started there. His connections, his database, everything started there. And there is a chapter in my book that is a bombshell chapter that brings not only my know-how and my insider tips from the World Economic Forum, but most of all, the inside of how Epstein operated and how the World Economic Forum has become the World Epstein Forum. And this is something that nobody has, that nobody can bring you. And this is an exclusivity. And people will be finally facing what was going on there, how he got what he got, and how he became the Epstein that you know today. Everything is in there, in that chapter, and you will be surprised to read what is in there. Would you like to cover the rest, or I don't know, because we are so many other topics as well.
Please feel free. The floor is yours.
Coming back to billionaires and millionaires.
Yeah.
I have two names that I would like to mention now, and there is a reason for that. Warren Buffett, if you are listening, I read that you post your annual multi-billion donation to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So, Mr. Buffett, don't you think you could help my foundation instead? Mr. Buffett, you can contact me anytime via my Instagram account. Looking forward to hear from you. And then there is another person, a key person, that I would like to send a message, and that's Reid Hoffman. In your Insta post with Governor Gavin Newsom, you said, "Would I do it again? Yes." He meant helping victims, as he did with E.G. Carroll. So, Mr. Hoffman, feel free to contact me anytime. And a third message is to all the other billionaires or trillionaires around the world. I have only one thing to say. Take your responsibilities before the public comes against you. Because enough is enough.
Yeah,
And
people
these
seem
are,
to forget how things
yeah,
ended for Marie Antoinette, that eventually they will come for you.
yeah, and don't forget that French people have that in blood, and they can start it anytime. Huh? They did it with Marie Antoinette, as you very well said, and they can do it with all the others as well. But these are important moments in time, because today, being a billionaire or a trillionaire, good for you. But you have also responsibilities, and you cannot rely on us to pay our taxes, to go to work and be good people, and you, at the other end, you do just what you want and you cross all the red lines. This is a no-go, and this is a no-go, a general no-go, and it cannot be accepted anymore. And I think these two people, Warren Buffett and Reid Hoffman, can really give it a thought, because I mean it seriously. Why would
I
he
think so too.
continue?
I think they're good guys, but I also wonder, is it even possible by and large for a billionaire to also be a saint? If there is, I haven't
No,
seen it
I
yet.
don't ask
I think
them
I
to
think
be a
I think I
saint.
think they run counter to each other.
Don't worry, I don't ask anybody to be a saint. Nobody's perfect. It's all okay for me. But you have to be ethically and morally a minimum of a basis, so that you can say, okay, I can look myself in a mirror. And then you do what you want. I don't care. But you have to show a minimum of example, because they are
Be of
asking us
service.
and they pretend us to be a good example. Why aren't they a good example? That's all I ask, to be a good example, and if possible, not, I don't care if they are saints or not, but in this case, I would do wonders with the foundation. And Bill
Yeah,
Gates,
I
Bill
know.
Gates and Melinda, what did they do with their money? They sent us COVID vaccines. Super. That was really well used, huh? We would do something with that money.
If Trump is watching this, what would you say to him right now?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I would tell him, first of all, dear Don, I never ever saw you as a president. You are not worthy to be called a president. I only see you as a man. You abolished the 10 Commandments 50 years ago. You have taken America, and the world in hostage. How far will you go? America has turned from democracy into a kleptocracy. You have SCOTUS, you have the House, you have the Senate and DOJ in your pocket. Good for you. But for how long? And now you steal Americans' money with Doge. Oh, by the way, why don't you audit Fort Knox? That would be interesting to know. How come you never audited Fort Knox? I guess because you emptied it. And now you use ICE to terrorize people. And I must say, you have become a professional criminal thanks to Roy Cohn. His methods are working. Bravo. But that doesn't change anything to the fact that you are a liar. Yes, Don, you are a liar. Don, you are a cheater. Don, you are a rapist. And I'm not scared to tell it into your face. And then there is this corrupt administration, all your friends, and your beautiful family. Normally, America had 2 or 4 presidential members in the White House, but you managed to put all your over 20 members of the family, of the Trump family, on the America payroll. Bravo done. Well done. I must say, this is a good point. I don't know who would have managed that. And cherry on the cake. Now it looks like you have dementia. Will you recognize me? I just wonder sometimes, some days, when I look what you tweet and what you talk about, who really governs USA? Is it you? Is it your friends? Who is the real president actually? Because I have the impression you lost it. Maybe you have some 5 minutes of clearance or clear moment where you see, you recognize Natalie. Maybe you don't recognize Melania. But still, at the end of the day, I wished I never met you. You changed my life, but you didn't change my life in the right way. I really wished I never had met you. But still, there are points I must say, bravo. Best cheater, the best liar. And on a scale that nobody can believe. I mean, when I met you, you were 20 billion in minus, and now you are 20 billion in plus. I can only say bravo for that. But still, the Americans, that's Americans' money. You have stolen it. When will you give it back to the Americans? And when will you give us the tariffs back? Because everybody says it's my fault. The 35% that we got from you based on a mathematical formula that never heard about. Nobody heard about it. And that's also my fault. I have taken so much on me. And you just don't care. And you continue and you put all this money in your pocket. But don't forget one thing. One day, all these Americans that voted for you, they are opening their eyes. And what they see is really ugly. Really ugly. And that's exactly the ugly Don that I met. And I am glad that today it's not about me anymore. It's about everybody. It's not about me anymore. And I am so glad that everybody sees it. Because when I said how you are, nobody believed me. But now everybody sees the reality. And more you continue, and more they will look. And you will lose even the 70 million that voted for you. And that day will be the most happiest day in my life. But still, it's not about me anymore. And this is for me the biggest victory. Everybody knows now. Now you can kill me. Now you can get me. I don't care. I made it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. If they speak French, if they speak German, if they speak English, if they speak in Netherlands, if they speak in Japanese, if they speak in Indonesian, they all got it. They all got it. And this is my victory. Even if I never thought I would make it. But there are many good people out there, like you, Scott, like all the other journalists. And thanks to all of you, we victims, we made it. So now it can happen whatever happens. I don't care. Because the book is written. The book will come out. So if I disappear, I don't care. Because I made it. I made it against the most powerful man in the world. I made it against the American president. Me, and just me. So this is what I would tell him, exactly like that, between four eyes. And I don't care what he's thinking. I don't care what his family is thinking. They can all come against me. And Elon and Zuckerberg. I don't care. Because I have the world with me. The world is watching. The world is with me. The world believes me. And therefore, we won already. It's just a question of time that you go down. It's just a question of time. They all did their work. Everybody did. Everybody. I even had yesterday one of the girls in America who called me and who put a post together with you cheating, with Epstein being a juror in a pageant. Even yesterday, I got help from America, from a girl I never met, I never saw, but she did a great post for me with all facts, just facts. And therefore, when we put all these facts together, and when we take all the victims together, there is no doubt left. Absolutely no doubt left. It's just a question of how many years in prison are you going to go? It's just how many years. It's not about are you going or are you not going? It's how many years. And most of all, when will you give back the money to the Americans? But I made it.
You made it.
I made it, and I made it thanks to you, Scott. Thanks to you and all the other journalists.
Well, I want to thank you for trusting me and my show to help a little bit in telling your story. And I want to articulate to the audience that if you do anything in your life, it's try to be of service to others, because at the end of the day, everything else comes and goes. You know, your legacy is what you do for others.
Thank you so much, Scott. But I can do it only with your help. I can do it only with your help, because we are talking about the most powerful person in the world, who is the biggest cheater and the biggest liar. You got me with your question, huh?
No, I know.
You killed me.
Well, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to just give you the microphone and let you do your thing, and you did it magnificently. And again, I want to thank you so much for sharing your heart and soul with me and my audience.
Well, I thank you and your team for your time and your precious support and everything you do also for the other victims. And as you said, this is the most important moment in life to be a podcaster or a journalist, because this is when things happen. This is where we can change. But we have to be really under these three words: unity, solidarity, humanity, because this is the only way to win. And if we take this advantage now, I think we can make it. But at the end of the day, I think our faith will also help us in these very, very difficult moments. And I hope people who are listening, they know what I'm talking about, and they realize what I'm going through, and they realize that we can only make it all together.
Great. Beatrice Keul, thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Okay.
Merci.
The Bad Decisions podcast was produced by Brock Workman of Hurrdat Entertainment. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. My book, The Big Book of Bad Decisions, is available for purchase wherever books and audiobooks are sold. A special thanks to today's guest, Beatrice Keul, for joining me. I'm your host, Scott Nathan. Thanks for listening.